You know, you probably should be making content to make your real estate business better, and everybody talks about it, and you know that you should, but it's hard. There's no two ways about it. And trust me, coming from myself, I film 4 YouTube videos every single week at least, plus about 20 to 30 shorts on top of that. And I do that all while not being an influencer, but running a $300+ million real estate team that we sell that at least every single year. This year we'll probably do about 500 million. So I'm going to give you this, how you can make money, how you can start, and then how you can get to where I'm at, where it has made a massive impact on our business without me being an influencer. I'm going to talk about how to make content easier for you. Beginner. Number one is block off a big chunk of time to just get it over with. If you're anything like me, you don't enjoy making the content. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you don't enjoy making it. How to make your content easier is the point of this. Number one is block at least a 4-hour block in a day where you can just get it over with. Ideally, you do it once a week. Personally, for me, today I film on Tuesdays. This is the 4th YouTube video that I will film today out of 5. And then I have also filmed about 15 shorts today as well too. And it is 2 p.m. I have been doing this since 9 a.m. So yes, it is a long filming day, but it's the one day that I look forward to getting it over with. I don't hate making the content because I see the impact, but I actually don't enjoy it. I don't do this for fun. I do this for business, right? Which I think is why you're watching this as well too. And I want to help you make content to actually make money, not to generate leads like all the influencers and all the advertisers and all of that are telling you to do. So number one is a huge block of time to do it. Now, the block of time will depend on how long, or rather how much content you are making. It could be longer or short. When I first started, it was a 1-hour block. And this is exactly how I would do it. So this is the beginner side, and then I'll talk about the advanced, which is what we're doing today. So I would block off 1 hour, and I would use not a fancy camera setup like I have here, and I'll try to take pictures and put it in the video of what I'm looking at when I'm doing this. I got 2 big lights, 3 cameras, fancy microphone. When I first started making these videos, I used my laptop and the camera that was in it, and Loom. Loom is like either free or $12 a month or something like that. And that's how I recorded it. Was the quality great? No. Was the audio quality great? No. I started using my AirPods, right? So use Loom and use your AirPods and just film and don't do edits. So like right now when I'm talking, I probably did 10 different versions of the hook of this video, but for the large part of it, this middle chunk doesn't need to be edited all that much. Now, I have a whole media team behind me that edits what they feel like needs to be chopped out. But when I first started making these videos, it was just me talking to one person on the other end of the camera, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm talking directly to you, and I don't need to edit. If I like scratch my head, or if I say like, or if I say just leave it in there. It doesn't matter. And honestly, the really high polished stuff actually doesn't make that big of a difference, if at all. I think people actually appreciate the real raw content. I get that in my stuff all the time, is like, people like when I go more raw, or if I just pick up the phone and Instagram record something, like that gets way better traction than a chopped up version of this video. So that's number one, is Loom. That's like the whole first section. Number two, another point is eliminate distractions. So if you can, try to put yourself in literally in the environment where you don't have distractions. I can tell you from experience, agents come into the office and they try to film in the office, and there's other people in there, they get embarrassed, they get whatever. Like if my wife walked into, this is a home studio right now, if my wife walked in and started staring at me right now watching, I would like probably act a little bit different. I might say things differently, and I would be distracted off of the conversation you and I are having right now. So if at all possible, to remove distractions would be a huge thing, which is why it's also important to block it off on your calendar, right? If you need a 1 hour, 5 hour time block, whatever that might be, put that on there so that this is what you're focused on. And then a pro tip here is if you can capture everyday work into your content. And as a real estate agent, especially, I think this is the easiest thing in the world, is literally just take pictures of what you're doing every day. I give an example of like, we make 150 pieces of content across all platforms every single week. So 150 a week, that is 600 a month, I think, if I'm doing math right. And a huge part of my agents on my team don't know what I do, other than they come in for the team meetings. I'm there for the trainings. They don't know what else I do. And simply it's because I do a really poor job with my content of taking a picture of what I'm actually doing right now in the moment. So wherever you're at in your business, you can do that. Like if I just take this picture right now of what I'm looking at, the lights and the cameras and everything, and say, hey, filming content today from this time to this time, and then I constantly do that every Tuesday forever, people just know that, oh, Christian makes content on Tuesdays. Just like you, if you're on property tours or whatever it is you're doing, showing that you're actually working is so much more powerful than telling somebody about it. So that's my other piece of advice, is any way you can take what you're already doing and making it into content. So if you're going on a home tour, snap pictures of the home tours. If you're doing a buyer's consultation, take pictures of the buyer's consultation or do a little recording of it. If you're going on a listing presentation, if you're prepping a listing for the market, all of this can be content. You don't even have to think about what you're doing. A side note on this is I would highly recommend you keep notes, or however you would keep this, is every time you have a conversation with a customer, I do this with agents. Every time I hear a team leader or an agent asking me something, I log that as like, oh, this is something that people are interested in. And if you get the same question over and over and over, put that at the top of the list as content to make. So that's like the beginner aspect of this. I'm going to talk about more of the advanced, but first, if you are interested in growing your real estate business and you want your advice on your actual business, I just started doing live audits in our school community. So the start to finish in real estate community is totally free. There's no cost to joining, and you get direct access to me and my team, along with over 2,000 other real estate agents that want to grow their business. So that is totally free. The link is in the description down below. Join in there and get active today. On top of that, you're going to get the sales masterclass that our team has used to sell over $1 billion in real estate from 2020 to June of 2026. So that's the beginner stuff. Let's talk about the more advanced. Maybe you've been doing that, or you watched this video, you bookmarked it, you came back to it, and now you're like, okay, I want to get a little bit better at this. I've been making content for a while. What do I do now? Well, first and foremost is making the actual filming significantly easier. So in front of me, I've got our main camera right here, and I've got a side camera over here. I actually have a third camera set up for shorts. Why is that? I literally don't have to stand up and move the cameras. I used to have to film to the main camera, and then I wanted to film vertical. I used to turn the camera to the side, get it leveled, so on and so on. I also used to have to change the batteries on all 2 or 3 cameras because they would die 2 or 3 times throughout the process of me filming. So now I paid somebody to come in, somebody that knows how to set this fancy stuff up, and I just said, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. What is it going to cost? And relative to whatever the size of your business is, this setup with 1, 2, 3 cameras, 2 huge lights, which pro tip, when setting up a home studio or an office studio, lighting is the most important thing. Because if I turn this even down, look how big of a difference this makes. And if I turn it off altogether, it is useless, right? So I can also just push a button and have these things turn on. So anyway, I paid a person, an expert, to come in here and set all of this up. And it cost me probably between all the setup, like 5 to 10 grand, like less than 10 grand, but like 5 grand-ish. And it took 2 or 3 runs to get it perfect. But now that it's dialed in, I can come in, I can flip the light switch, which turns the camera on, which turns the lights on. I come into here, I click on OBS is what we film on. I don't even know what that stands for. And I click start, and magically it all starts recording, and then it uploads to the Google Drive. We use G Suite for our company. And that's it. That is how simple it is for me to make content. Flip a light switch, sit down, press record, and I'm already filming. And this just gets automatically uploaded in there. And my media team, so I have a social media manager, and I have a video editor, shout out David, editing this, and myself, like I'm on camera. So my job is to take what my social media manager says, hey, this is the content that we want to talk about. This is mostly for the consumer facing stuff. For agent facing stuff like this, I pick the content. And then I make it, and then it gets uploaded, and then it gets edited and posted on my behalf. On the beginner side, I was posting all of it, and I was posting significantly less of it, right? When we're posting 150 times a week, that is literally somebody's full-time job. So that's the advanced setup. I would highly encourage you also to have it set up ideally in your home, because it's just easy to get to and there's no distractions from the office. Now, if it can be in the office and there's no distractions, I think that's fine too. But it's really nice for me just to be able to walk in here, film something if I need to, or if it's a full day, I have everything I need right here. I don't even need to leave my office. Now, to be clear, that's the goal of what to get to. is to be prompted with, this is the thing you're talking about. I just need to sit down and film and everything else magically happens. But we did not get to that immediately at all, not even close to that. So what I want to share with you is the framework of how we get from idea to all of these different things posted. Now, this isn't like a rocket science framework by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think it's helpful. So almost everything we start with starts from the written word. So I go to hemingwayapp.com. This is a website, not an app. Go to hemingwayapp.com and I write the topic there. So I find a topic that I think is relevant. Like, so many of the agents on our team want to make content. And a lot of the times it's a reality check of like, yeah, making content like we do is hard. It's literally 4 people's full-time jobs, and it's a huge amount of my time. So this is an idea that came up because so many people are like, how are you guys putting out that much content? Well, this is how. So number 1 is you get an idea. And then number 2 is I write the word. And I would say this is as a hack. I think my communication skills, my ability to be persuasive has been the most impacted, not by reading books, not by any of that, by writing. And I write 2 newsletters every single week. So whatever the topic is, I write it out. I go to hemingwayapp.com and I will put what I want to say onto paper and I summarize it down to a 3rd grade reading level. Doesn't mean it's short. A lot of these are actually really long newsletter style emails, but they're written at a 3rd grade reading level, meaning they're very simple to understand. So I make that newsletter. So we have the whole written word. That basically becomes an email newsletter, goes out. It also gets copy and pasted into a blog on our website. Sure, we shimmy it around to be SEO optimized and all that fun stuff. We also then post that on Facebook and LinkedIn and anywhere that has text. That also gets chopped up and moved into a carousel. And we're just talking about the text. Now, the other thing that happens is that email becomes my script for the YouTube video. Then I walk through and I basically just talk through what I just wrote. And in a video like this, I can give visual examples. I can talk a little bit more in detail because, you know, nobody's going to read a 15-minute email, but you would maybe watch a 15-minute YouTube video. So that's what becomes into the script, becomes in the YouTube video. This video here, for reference, a 10-minute YouTube video will get chopped up into 5 to 10 shorts as well too. So find something interesting you said in the video, give it to a video editor. They should be able to chop that up into 5 to 10 short form, like Reels, TikToks, things like that. You should be able to take the written content and then the way more context on the verbal and then make that into carousel posts as well too. You can then post the video on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and anywhere else that houses videos. You can take those the shorts, and it's a YouTube short, it's an Instagram short, or Instagram Reel, TikTok, whatever the hell they call them. It can be all those different platforms effectively being exactly the same video. And then from there, you have content, you have comments, you have views, you get questions. And in the beginning, like, you might get a comment on all of these different videos, but now we get to the point where we talk about something, we get however much interaction on it, and then that feeds the next content idea. So that's the framework. Is number 1, we get the idea, then we go to 2, the written word. That becomes a YouTube outline, and then I say YouTube, but like you're probably watching this on YouTube. This video can go wherever. And then that YouTube video gets chopped up into a bunch of short form stuff. And then that creates more interaction and comments. And then that just feeds the flywheel there. So that's how we make content. And the reality is, wherever you're at on this content making journey, by the way, if you made it this far, if you could do me a huge favor and like and subscribe and comment why you liked this video. If you're watching this far, I assume you probably do. So comment why you like this video, because we're trying to figure out what we want to make more of. And I want to hear from you about it. But anyway, if you're watching this far in the video, a lot of people go to this huge mistake of trying to make content to generate new leads. And I will tell you from experience, our goal is to generate 1,000 organic leads this year from social media. We're a little bit short of that halfway through the year, but we generate like 250 leads a month, right? So, or not a month, a quarter. So a lot still, like 15 to 20 a week. And that's hard. It's really hard. Like, we have a lot of resources going into this, and the only reason that we can do it and continue to invest in it is because our actual business is growing without it, right? We've grown from, we did $300 million in sales volume last year. We're going to do between 400 and 500 this year. And that is with an incredibly small percentage of it being media. This year, it's getting to be a little bit bigger. So now I have no problem reinvesting more and more and more because we're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in company dollar gross profit from it. But for the first 3 years we did this, it was like basically a goose egg, almost no business from it, but from new leads. But there was a huge lift on both the consumer facing side and the agent facing side when we started making content that converted and nurtured the leads we already have. And most people totally miss the point here, that the point of making content is to make more money. The point of making content is not to generate leads necessarily. That is a great byproduct of it. But the point of making content is to make more money. So if you can make content that will convert and nurture the leads you already have in your database, that is a huge win. And most people are missing this big time. So I hope you found this valuable. If you did, let me know in the comments down below what you found valuable in it and what piece of content you're going to make next. And by the way, if you like the idea of adding value to your database, I made this whole video about how to do that and how to build a database that's worth gold. So I'll let you watch that right here.